Shalom, y'all. Grace and blessings from God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, be unto you. All praises to the Most High. I'm here with a specific type of video. I might do some more like this in the near future. But of course, giving all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His Son, His Word, Jesus the Christ, and we do so by the Holy Ghost. As you can see here, this is a Galaxy. I don't know if you can see that. It's a Galaxy S10. There we go, Galaxy S10. It's an old phone. Obviously, you can see it's like damaged and stuff, broken. This is a comparison to like a newer model. This is like a Galaxy A52 or whatever. They don't say it on the back. But yeah, I just wanted to take this thing apart, just right here, just to see what's going on in it. I've heard a lot of different things about what's inside these phones, and you know. Is it science? Is it magic? Is it a combination of both or whatever? I've heard both. So I just want to check it out. This right here is a little inexpensive smartphone repair kit, as it says there. I got that for like $9. This one right here is just little screwdrivers and stuff. I don't know exactly what it's going to entail, but these were like $5. It wasn't much for all this stuff, so I want to take these things apart. Let me see. What all is it going to entail? I might just break it further. I'm not quite sure, but I guess we'll see. Maybe this won't take too much. Let's see what it does with this suction cup here, because it doesn't look like there's any screws here holding the back and the front on. I think it's just glass that needs to be suctioned off. Could be mistaken though. Let's see. Well, it's trying to come out. Also, probably doesn't help that it's shattered so much. Let's see. I might have to use like a little pry bar on this. Nope. Let's try one of these little pry bars. Okay, yeah, that's just gonna end up throwing glass everywhere probably. Yeah, there's a little bit of glass there. With it being shattered like this, it's more than likely was gonna end up like that anyway. It would seem that with these corners all messed up and missing, that's probably why the suction cups don't work. Let's see. There we go. Digging into it there. Certainly don't want this glass to go everywhere. Okay. That's something to it. Ooh, there we go. There it goes. And it don't want to stay connected to it. Again, that's probably because all the cracks. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Here's all the fun stuff. All right. All right. As you can see, that's the little back that's covered by glass, and it's just a little piece of plastic. What it feels like there. And the same right there. Let's see. Okay, so we have all this stuff before you actually get to all the important stuff. You have a little flap right here. And of course, you have the battery there. I wonder if this will just come off. It will. Have some Korean writing here, which makes sense. This Samsung is manufactured in Korea, or it could have been manufactured in China. I know it's a Korean-based company. So yeah, let's go ahead and start taking some of these. First of all, this battery out, and then some of these screws out as well. And see, this is one of the newer models, because it used to be, when it comes to these smartphones, you used to be able to take the batteries out and replace them quite easily. These you cannot. And it's the same with this here. So this battery is what gives it all the power, obviously. All the acid and things like that are in there. Let's see. This is going to be small enough. Okay, yeah, so that'll work. That'll work. I forgot to mention these right here. Obviously, all your cameras and your flash. What I'm really trying to get down to, because I heard and seen some things, some theories that the circuit board actually contains like sigils and things like that. So that's really what I'm trying to look at, what I'm trying to get down to. I've heard, oh, there's one of the cameras. I've heard theories concerning the screens as well being black mirrors, as in obsidian mirrors. So that is actually pretty apparent. Now, whether or not that means anything is a different story. I certainly don't think these things are good for us spiritually, long term, but that screw don't really want to come out. But I don't know if it is specifically those types of magic that people are talking about. That's kind of really what I'm trying to look at. Plus, I don't really know how they function. I would like to know how they function. You know, with these things that everybody has on them at all times. If they're, since we're so familiar with them, I'm just gonna put this out. This is not like I'm trying to use this phone again. So we got the battery there. And that's interesting right here. I don't know if y'all can see that right there. That's part of your little gold circuit board type thing that connects the battery to the motherboard, I'm sure. But regardless, as I was saying, regardless how they're made, if everyone carries one around, everyone should know like what's in them and what they're made of, right? Because you have it on you at all times. And I've seen brothers who have posted, and I've actually reposted things that they have posted concerning something that I didn't know at the time, which is every phone has a safe distance protocol, so to speak. I forget what it's actually called, the actual terminology of it. In the edit, I'll try to put something in that explains it a little better than I'm doing now. But basically, all these smartphones, you're supposed to keep a safe distance from them. You're not supposed to have them like up close and personal with you all the time. And usually that safe distance is somewhere around a few centimeters, a few inches at any given point in time. But still though, everybody has these on them at all times, not knowing what kind of damage it'll do to them because they don't advertise that. But they know. A lot of times these companies know. That's why they put it in your settings, like deep in your settings. And like I said, I'll put some with a little bit more information on that in the edit. Almost done getting this whole back screen off. Because as you can tell, there are layers to this, and this is more or less the battery layer. Still shielding, still protecting the motherboard, circuit board, whatever you want to call it. And of course, you have the back glass layer, which I had damaged somehow. I don't even know how I damaged it at this point, but I certainly did. And that's why it looked the way that it did. Ooh, take that off. Then you have this little layer of plastic here, then you have this, and now we're getting down to the circuit board. Now we're getting down to the good stuff, and obviously this is beyond repair at this point because I'm breaking stuff. But, excuse me, let me go ahead and take this out as well. See if there's any circuit board down here that I need to expose. Why is this kind of loose? I wonder why. Why not? There we go. There it goes. And see, all this stuff is just breaking. It was never really meant to be disassembled like this. But, you know, it is what it is. Did I never take this screw out? Maybe I didn't. No, see, this screw is completely stripped. No, maybe I got a little. Yeah, there we go. I got it. It was damn near stripped though. Let's see. All right, so now we're getting to it. Now we're getting to the meat of the matter here. Let me see if I can get this bottom part off too, so we can get this, see this clearly. And it wants to break, and maybe that's just how I haven't been like keeping up with it, so to speak. I haven't been like keeping it weatherproof or whatever. I've been keeping it in a little bag. Though it hasn't been out in the elements, I don't know why it's stuck together like this and wants to break apart as opposed to coming apart. Maybe it's because they glued it. That's probably what it is. They probably glued it. Or maybe it's just there's screws in here still. But you can kind of see the glue here on the outside of it. I'm gluing all this stuff in here. Like they're covering up these screws with glue. Yeah, so like I can't even get to that screw because of the glue here. There we go. Maybe I finally got it. There we go. Okay, got that glue off. All right. Come on now. Yeah, just about stripped this screw, just trying to get the glue out of it. It's moving around, wiggling around. Okay, it might be loose enough to come on out of there. There we go. Okay. So this is an interesting little bay point. I don't know why though. Oh, it's the fan. This is the fan. That's what this is. This keeps it cool. Okay. That makes sense. All right. So here we got all the good stuff. All the circuit board stuff. This is obviously your audio jack, as you can see there. Have a place where the SIM card goes in up here. That would be under the circuit board, it would appear. Up here, I think this is like, I don't know what that is. Maybe the microphone. But yeah, you see where it's all coming together. And all this stuff is clearly done on a microscopic level. So with the naked eye, you can hardly even see this stuff. This almost looks like a QR code, which is crazy. There's no reason why a QR code would be in here, because there's no way to scan it. Maybe that had to do with another QR code right there. Maybe that had to do with when they were assembling it. To turn it on, they'd have to put these little QR codes in. That's interesting. That's fascinating. Why they would have QR codes for all these little minor microprocessor type functions of the circuit board it's pretty crazy. Yeah, so I'm not seeing any. Then again, I don't know like sigils and things like that, but it doesn't appear that there would be anything that's even remotely similar to that. This is more just like, I think that's brass. I could be mistaken. I don't think it's gold. Gold would be way too expensive to put in every single phone, I would think. But it would appear that all this brass, silver, it was not silver, more like tin, maybe aluminum, all functions together with these little microprocessors to give us what we have today. Very interesting stuff. Let's see. Yeah, so that's pretty much the phone. Like this all this stuff is the phone. All this as you can see, the circuit board, this like blue or teal, this teal color circuit board with all this gold looking, I presume it's brass, with all the rest of this probably aluminum or tin. All this functioning together, that is the phone. So interesting stuff there. Interesting stuff there. I don't see any evidence of any like overt sigils that some people claim, though I didn't really expect that either. But still, in a way, all this is I would liken it more to alchemy than direct like magic. But still, though, very, very interesting stuff, and it's clear that this stuff, at least spiritually, does I don't know if you want to say influence. Influence is probably the better word than like manipulate people, but it does both those things. But hope y'all learned something from this. I certainly did. As far as the makeup of this stuff, obviously I wouldn't know how to make one from scratch, and nor do I have any intentions on doing so. But it's just some interesting things about how these phones are made. And as you can see here, this is a picture that I took of. I'll show some other pictures in the edit as well. But you see these symbols. I started to see these symbols. This is the little piece that connects the circuit board with the screen, right? I started to see these little symbols here, and as you can tell, these little symbols are basically crosses with triangles in them, right? Crosses with triangles in them. So with that, I started looking up, and I guess I'll show you real quick. There's a little disconnect there. That's the circuit board. I disconnected it there. That's where you see the piece that I'm zoomed in on, and this is the screen, obviously there. And you have that aluminum that connects to this brass looking piece right here. That's where I found them symbols there. I zoomed in on that. You got all them symbols there. The triangles with the crosses in them, or the crosses with the triangles in them. There's 6 of them there. And so when I started looking up where these sigils come from, this is the closest thing I could find to it. And as I said here, it's the Golden Dawn. Right, so I started looking into that. What is the Golden Dawn? Triangle and cross symbol. It said represents the Holy Trinity, right? Then it says the Golden Dawn is the cross and the triangle, the Golden Dawn. So I looked up to that. It's known as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, right? So it says Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was a 19th century British secret society dedicated to studying and practicing occultism, metaphysics, and ceremonial magic. Drawing from Hermeticism, Kabbalah, and astrology, right? So that's what it goes back to. It attracted influential members like W.B. Yeats and Aleister Crowley. And if you know anything about Aleister Crowley, you know that he was basically the damn devil and admitted such, and was a practitioner of all sorts of magic, right? So these people, why is their symbols found on the phone, right? Is it a coincidence? Perhaps, but you know, it's a weird coincidence to have here, right? So studies and practices, the Golden Dawn focused on theurgy, which is divine work, right? Tapping into spirits, right? And spiritual development through the study of Renaissance alchemy. As I said, the circuit board in the main video, as I was taking apart, I said I would liken it somewhat to alchemy as opposed to direct magic. But it said Kabbalistic philosophy, astrology, tarot, and geomancy. Geomancy is interesting. Let's look up geomancy real quick. Yeah, what's geomancy? Well, it doesn't even have to be in the Golden Dawn, but geomancy, what is geomancy? Oh man, let me look that up real quick, because Google sucks. So let me go ahead and define that. What is geomancy? The art of practicing or arranging buildings or other sites auspiciously, divination from configurations seen in a handful of earth thrown on the ground, or by interpreting lines or textures on the ground. So that would explain why there's a whole bunch of random lines that would appear on here. And these are earth elements, by the way. All this is earth elements. But maybe I'm tripping on that. Maybe that's a bit of a reach. It said the orders, initiations, and hierarchical structure were based on Freemasonic organizational principles, and that makes sense. Despite its relatively brief existence, the order's work was foundational to the modern revival of esotericism, influencing Wicca and other forms of contemporary magic, right? So, very interesting that it's using these similar symbols here, all right? So with that, hope y'all learned something. I'm going to say shalom, and let God be magnified.